Earlier today, investigators found what appears to be human remains, along with personal items, such as a backpack and notebook belonging to Brian Laundrie.
Breaking news at 6, NBC2 is on top of major new developments in the search for Brian Laundrie. You are looking at video of police and the FBI back at the Myakkahatchee Creek Environmental Park. Thank you for counting on NBC2. I'm Peter Bush.
And I'm Kelly Burns. Here's what we know right now. The FBI confirms that human remains were found in the Carlton Reserve this morning in a spot in the swamp previously underwater. Agents also found a backpack near the remains and a notebook belonging to Brian Laundrie. We also know Laundrie's mother and father were out at the reserve early this morning during the search.
NBC2 has live team coverage for you this evening with our reporters who have stayed on top of the story since it first captured the nation's attention more than a month ago. Megan Myers is live at the entrance to the Myakkahatchee Park in Sarasota County. Samantha Serban is at Brian Laundrie's home in Northport. But let's start with NBC2 anchor BRENNA WEICK, who was there when the FBI confirmed they may have finally found Brian.
They confirmed that information here at the entrance to the Myakkahatchee Creek Environmental Park. And as you can see, the scene is still active. Northport police are still blocking off the entrance. Police tape blocks off anyone from entering. But we did see the medical examiner arrive on scene within the last hour. And we have seen some Sarasota County officials coming to the scene. But the real action is happening deep within this reserve, the Carlton Reserve. Let's show you some video from earlier today where you can see a tent set up and quite the investigation going on inside the Carlton Reserve. That's where those partial remains were found, where the FBI says they were originally covered with water and just found today. We do know that the FBI has an evidence task force processing the scene as we speak. But let's get to that FBI press conference and get to that confirmed information. NBC2's Megan Myers was here with me as a special agent confirmed exactly what we know so far. Megan, get us up to speed.
Well, Brenna, as of right now, we do know that belongings that belong to Brian Laundrie, a backpack as well as a notebook, were both found. Now, the area where those remains were found, as well as those belongings that belong to Brian Laundrie, was in a spot that was previously underwater. Now, as you can see, this area is still an active scene out here. We do know that the Laundrie family attorney has confirmed to us that Brian's parents initially told law enforcement that this spot where these belongings were found is an area where Brian may be. And he also says that his parents were out here this morning at the park. Now, it is likely that officials will spend several days investigating these findings.
Our evidence response team is on scene using all available forensic resources to process the area. It's likely the team will be on scene for several days.
Now, portions of this environmental park where we are, as well as the Carlton Reserve, will be closed down to the public as this investigation continues. I'm live for you right now. Back to you guys.
As Megan mentioned, Laundrie's parents left their Northport home this morning and went to the preserve, spending a couple of hours alongside investigators. Meantime, a memorial for Gabby Petito is growing in their yard. Our team coverage continues with NBC2's Samantha Serban. And Samantha, I understand protesters showed up there a short time after the FBI made the announcement.
Correct. These are the protesters who have been here since just after Brian went missing. They were here the night that Brian was reported missing, September 17th. You can see them right here outside of the house with pictures of Gabby demanding justice for Gabby. If you listened in on the press conference at 4:30, you could hear these same protesters at the Myakkahatchee Creek Environmental Park demanding justice for Gabby. They want Chris and Roberta Laundrie, Brian's parents, to come out. They believe that the Laundries have information about what happened between Gabby and and Brian in Wyoming. Now, we know Brian's parents have not said anything so far out in the public. They have said everything to their attorney. Everything that we have heard from them has come from Steve Bertolino in New York, and we haven't heard them say anything, and we've very rarely even seen them come out of their house. We saw them a few times at the beginning of the investigation, and only once since Brian was reported missing. We saw Chris Laundrie on October 7th when he went to help law enforcement search at the Myakkahatchee Creek Environmental Park. We were told that day that there was nothing that was found of significance, and today we believe that we have learned that they have found remains that are possibly Brian's. There is still forensic testing to be done on that, but we talked with one man who says he hopes that it's not Brian. He hopes that Brian is found alive.
I wish he was alive, so we can find out what happened, I hope he's not dead, we just have to wait and see how it develops.
He hopes that Brian is found alive so that way the Petito Schmidt family can have some answers and get some closure about what happened between Gabby and Brian out in Wyoming. You can see this memorial still stands in front of the Laundrie family home as people continue to demand justice and can demand answers for that sake. We'll be sure to let you know if the Laundries come out or if they issue any more statements from their attorney. The last we heard from their attorney, they said that the Laundries were waiting for forensic investigative work to be done before they make any sort of comment about these remains found today. Reporting live in Northport, Samantha Sorbin, NBC2.